It's not really.
Good to go? Okay, is there a motion for this evening's agenda?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Thank you. Public comment?
Yeah, thank you for showing us some of the two reps in the town line road. Speaking of the highway superintendent now, I will be hiring a new employee sometime between April 12th and May 6th. I just gotta wait for the 2-week time period to come up to see if I get any more. And I had 5 people stop in, 2 left in application, 3 left. I didn't even bother because of the health insurance is so crappy. They weren't even put application in. We've been working on drainage on Sheldon Road. Graphic paving. We've also done some tree prep here on West Main Street. We'll be paving that. Took delivery of the damaged truck and the vendor has paid for bumper to bumper extended warranty. So anything that happens to that truck for the time that we own it, there's an extended warranty and all the repairs will be made. Not out of the town's taxpayers' money. I'd like to talk about 41 Old Stable Way. The gutters there have been damaged terribly by the, I'm assuming by the builder. These gutters were replaced, the whole road was replaced and the gutters were replaced due to they weren't put in right, so we had the second phase, I had the contractor redo it all. And then while he was doing the road, he digged every gutter. But this is the only house that has been built in there since, so these gutters, I mean, I have pictures here, they should not be, they need to be repaired. Probably a cost of $20,000-$30,000, I would say. Road would have to be cut. It's just a shame that it got this far for all the work that we did to make the road as nice as it was, but I don't think the taxpayers should be responsible for it. Quite frankly, for the lack of not inspecting what's going on around here. Like the office in our building has not been cleaned. There's cleaners for everywhere else, but there's none at the highway department. I don't understand why no one's cleaning anything down there. I can't have the guys clean it because I'm not allowed to. It's the resolution that we talked about. I'd also like to see if I can get Denise a raise with the retirement of the one fella. There'll be some money left over in the budget, so she'll be deserving of a pretty good raise for all the work she's doing with this EDP vouchers and everything being switched back. We spent 5 years switching it over, but now it's all being switched back. So she's in deserving of a good raise. And the highway department will be opening the Facebook page. That's all.
Thank you. We'll move on to communications. Michelle?
I hope everybody had a good Easter and the solar day. That was fun. Taxes are about 96%, maybe 97 by now % collected. So I'll keep collecting through the end of April. I'm going to be taking a New York State retirement class Friday to learn how to enter all the retirement into the retirement system each month or bi-monthly or whatever happens. I've attended quite a few ADP meetings with John on switching to payroll and all that, along with Denise and Mary. And I think that's about all. I've been so busy, I didn't have time to make a list, so that's all I got for today.
Sheldon?
I have nothing.
Brent?
March 20th, the planning board meeting met, they had 3 applications, there was an approval of a 2-lot subdivision with, conditions on Hopsman Drive. There was an approval of a subdivision on Old Sawmill with no site plan that was approved as submitted. Then Smith Road, there was a site plan for a structure in front of the primary residence. They tabled that for more information. from the applicant. April 17th, that Smith Road application may be back if they get the information before them. May meeting, we're looking at a site plan for Fountain Hill Road, accessory structure in front of the primary residence. And there's also a special use application in for a barbecue restaurant in the old Max Mark's Pizzeria on Assembly Drive.
What kind of application?
A special use permit. If you see a theme coming with a lot of the site plan applications we have right now are for accessory structures in front of the primary residence. I think we're gonna get a letter from the planning board to ask us to look into that. To see if we could maybe standardize, they seem to be saying the same conditions over and over, so they feel as though maybe the town board might consider putting those conditions right into law, so they wouldn't have condition. Discussed with MRB, the sidewalks, earlier today, got some very preliminary costs turned in. They're not ready for prime time, but we are still moving forward. There's two sections on that. One is Assembly Drive 251. And then we're also looking from the Handlight going to Bennett Farms, which would be our phase one. Of whatever report was done earlier. Continued the zoning law reviews with planning board attorney, code enforcement officer, and the CEO. Plan on our next meeting is April 23rd. I think it's been pretty productive so far. I expect to begin discussion chapters 138, 159 at the next meeting, which are the EPOD 5 and the HPC. Discussed for a few months now. Met with the director of buildings and grounds down in Summer Road. They had a backflow preventer down there that he's having some issues with. Got some experience outside of my town duties, so I stopped down to look at it. While we were there, we also looked at things like there's some concerns of pigeons nesting in the salt burn. Quick look at that with him, tried to put him in touch with some other municipalities that may have ideas of how to address that. Met down at Splash Pad, with regards to the 1-year warranty, our substantial completion letter was issued May 2nd of 2023. So we have 1 year from that date to notify the contractors of any concerns that we have. So the water should be turned on. It's scheduled to be turned on next week. We went through. I didn't see anything major. I think there's a water fixture that we're probably going to need to be replaced. The drinking fountain was leaking. And there's a couple of the lights for the flagpoles. They have condensation inside of the lights. And the big concern with that is there's microchips inside of those lights. They should be sealed. There should be no moisture. So they worked on them. But put them on notice before May 2nd of this year. Summer Road Park had some code enforcement officer discussed with county parks. Moved forward, initial discussion with county parks. They sounded pretty promising to connect the Lehigh Valley Trail through an easement from the Aqua Center up the Summer Road. So we're gonna continue with that. Like I said before, it's gonna be a long process because there's a lot of agencies involved. I've also talked with one of my old professors from RIT. They have what they call a capstone project where municipalities can submit projects, and the professor may pick some of these projects for students to work on. They can get it up to 90 or 95% completion. So might put some of these projects together and submit to the capstone if the town board members want to do that and see if we can get some hearing going that way. Sat down on March 19th for the financial audit with Tim Roberts. My review didn't find any discrepancies that required any further investigation. Looked good from where I was sitting. has started a stormwater task force. We're starting to collect existing data, field inventory. Some of the things that we're gonna be doing this year is, required with the new permit. It's coming up with an organizational chart and working on updating the stormwater management plan. One we have right now is very basic. I think we'd like to get a little bit more specific with some action items. We have also talked about possibly putting together, and all town board members want to consider it, is postcard notifications. We have once we identify these properties that had stormwater easements, just every spring sending out a notice, say, hey, remember, there's an easement on your property. Town forces might be there to do maintenance on them, just a little reminder. And that is all that I have.
Thank you. Kim?
So Brent and I both completed the annual accounting audit of the town finances. I agree, they look all in great shape. Mary definitely knows what she's doing, and you can tell that she not only is knowledgeable with her job, but she takes great pride in representing the taxpayers. So I thank her for all of her efforts. There was a zoning board meeting on March 14th, and there's a variance up for 20 Old Stable Way requesting to build a detached garage with a side setback of 11 feet where the code requires 20. The ZBA approved the variance with requests that they ask that the matching of siding and roof as close as possible to the house. All members, I just want to say all the members on the ZBA, they do their due diligence, but again, Tom Voorhees is definitely an asset on that. Because he had history of this property that was built in 2016, and at that time, the variance was 20 feet, not the 10 feet, so he was, I thought, good to be part of that discussion and help move that along. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Cindy?
Yep, I've got a few things here. First, I have an apology to make. Tom had asked me if I would attend the ECB meeting for him on Tuesday, April 2nd. And I said I would, and then I completely forgot about it. I informed Tom that night, and also sent my apologies in an email to Peter Carosa. I remembered it at 7:35. So I called Tom right away, and I sent him a text as well. I completed the board audit on March 14th for the year of 2023, and I found no issues. I think it was in great shape. With regard to the library, there were concerns and questions regarding the new voucher procedures, especially regarding prepays. Currently, they send those vouchers to the town the day after their meetings. I suggested that Lila contact John and O'Leary. Kelly Paganelli has been nominated for the State Assembly's Women of Distinction Award, and she will attend a celebratory luncheon on April 20th. Michelle, I have this, you can,
Oh, good. Thank
So-
you.
sorry. Lila is working on proposals for the team, corner project. The board discussed the budget meeting dates, and we'll have a calendar ready in May for those meetings. And the board is continuing working on revising their policies. They did approve their new volunteer policy. Next, at our March 11th meeting, Andy Kushner read a letter to the board stating, Andy, there will no longer be a seat at the board table for the highway superintendent. All communications from any town board department head will be in written form. Certainly, you may attend meetings as a member of the public. A few days after the meeting, I sent emails to the other board members stating my concerns about this action. I asked if any of them wanted to respond to do so to me only. I heard back from just one board member. I find it hard to believe that others did not show any concern, or if they did, I didn't hear from them. I'm concerned that this action is not concerning to others. It prevents the board from asking any questions we may have regarding the highway department amendment. This department carries the town's largest part of our budget, has the town's largest number of employees, And this particular position of highway superintendent is an elected one. Additionally, the board was not notified of this unilateral decision. Further, the letter stated all communication from any town amended department head will be in written form. At that same meeting, this dictate was not followed. I am asking that the board discuss this issue at our May board meeting. And I think this is my final thing. Sidewalks. I had a discussion with Rick Mill regarding the Monroe County sidewalk project. He informs me that there is money available for our project on county roads. It does not have to be connected to any road project on county road. It is, you're doing road project or a sidewalk project. He said to me, you have money. They have huge amount of money. And he said they're hoping to continue this project throughout the years coming up. So he said there will be, once they get everything finalized, there will be an application that we can go through on their website and print out and fill in the application and send it in. He didn't say if we could do it electronically. And I also have a call into, Tom Freeze. Price Freeze. Of Monroe County, the highway guy from Monroe County, regarding the same thing. But he said there is absolutely money there available for it. So and he said it would be 50% of the cost of the county part of our project. I went over what the project entailed, and he said 50% of the road, he said last square is town road. So you could use it from last square and any other road is town road.
Or if it could more, so get that in writing, because that's a new target.
Well, he said that they're putting the final touches on. He said initially it was related to the road projects. And they decided that they had so much money. And so many towns needed some sidewalks. That they voted, and he said it passed, and we are putting the final touches on requirements or whatever.
I think that's great news. I'm sorry,
No,
but I mentioned that to our engineers as well. If you wanted it, if it's available. Get shovel ready sooner rather
yeah,
than
I
later.
think the sooner we can get that done, the better. As long as there's money this year.
We want to make sure that we connect it. We don't want to start from the outside and work in.
True, but if we could do something. Pretty much. And that, ends my communication.
Huh?
Okay, again, no harm, no foul, no, I'm missing the meeting. I got in touch with Peter immediately and he wrote back to me and let me know what went on in the meeting. Coming out of that meeting, there was a site visit at the Apollo Pole Barn on 97 Boughton Hill Road. They did a site visit on, Monday and he did a report today. There's 5 E-pods on that property, but none of them is affected by the location of the pole barn. So the report came out today that's gave it positive recommendation. So John, and he'll probably put you in, he generously took my historic preservation committee. Unfortunately, spring break fell on the first week of the month where all my meetings. So I also want to acknowledge, and I noticed there's a resolution for it, but I'll acknowledge it in my communications that I also did the audit with Cindy, not with her, but after she did it, and again, they found everything to be in order. I just want to, based on what Cindy said, I have concurrence with her. I was kind of surprised at the last meeting about this letter that was written regarding Andy not being at the meeting. I too think it's a disservice to the board members, a disservice to the taxpayer. I think you mentioned something on May. Whether or not there's the ability to do this unilaterally or not, I'm not going to argue with that, but I think it's an important enough matter to put on a resolution, and I'd like to get everyone on the record because I am strongly on the record of being against not having the one and only elected official besides justices not being up here in the days.
Thank you. A few things, obviously, the eclipse, I did a couple of laps around the town yesterday, went to the event in the hamlet. Obviously, because the weather wasn't too cooperative, it was a little sparse, but by the same token, people seem to be making the best of it. I would also like to mention that the county will be briefing the elected, mayors and supervisors at the next council of government meeting regarding sidewalks. And as you mentioned, Cindy, it is 50%, but it also is only for county
Correct.
roads.
I stated,
Eh, I'm sorry?
I said, that's what I stated.
I know, but I'm telling, what I'm in the middle of saying is that what we have proposed so far, the only portion of that is a county road is north, Mile Square World, north of the Victor Mendon Road. So, we certainly will pursue that. If anybody has any other ideas of sidewalks on county roads, certainly love to hear it. As you know, we've been talking about sidewalks for some time. Let's see, I attended the HPC meeting last week. They talked about going to the training, which is upcoming. They're creating a database for historic homes in the town of Mendon so that they can reach out to people to see if they would like to be under consideration for that historic designation. I handed out everyone the village's cost estimate for the fire protection district. As you probably know, the Huntington Falls Fire Department has hired 2 people to be there during the week, Monday through Friday, for approximately 8 hours a day. Currently our residents that we represent in the fire protection district are paying about 56% of the current contract. So out of the complete budget for the fire department, the residents of the fire protection district are paying about 56% of the overall budget. We are the de facto commissioners of that fire protection district. We don't have to contract with the village of Honey Falls. It's been a tradition. I think it would almost definitely put them in a bad situation, budgetary wise, to be able to continue. Legally, we have to provide fire protection for that area. We could contract with someone else. We could talk to the village about creating a fire district that would include that area of town and the village. The mayor wanted to come and he was set to come last night, but obviously the meeting got changed. So I would ask the board to consider what you'd like to do. My initial estimates were a lot higher than this for a change. I don't have the breakdown that the village is using, but our breakdown showed a more significant change in the rate going forward, which was about $1.15 as compared to what the village has here. So it is something to think about. It is something to ponder. It is something to engage residents about. Obviously, we had our committee a while back. They came up with a recommendation, and that recommendation has not been enacted as of this date. So something to keep in mind. I've been talking about it for a while, but we should continue to keep it in mind. Our server at Town Hall has been replaced. Danny Bassett did an excellent job. I met him down here several times between Friday night and Saturday night. Everything seems to be working fine, provided the town board with the final budget for the, or not final, it's not really a budget, final numbers for the military memorial and splash park. Let's see. The ADP has been progressing. We've had several, we had one face-to-face, we've had several virtual meetings with them. I thank Michelle for being involved in this. A lot of big changes, payroll wise. Denise, again, doing a great job of being on the calls. So much like the various departments, the library will be doing their payroll, which they basically do now. They just send it to Mary, and now they will send it to ADP with the highway department. Denise will do the payroll there, and then upon approval of the highway superintendent, will send it to either to Michelle and I for the final approval going to ADP. So we have another one tomorrow, another one next week. We're scheduled to meet bi-weekly through the month of October with ADP. Let's see, our finance people, we've had communication with them as well. Both of these groups are projecting May 1 as far as they're gonna take over and do all our work then. Everything's progressing there. They're running circles around me, but they know what they're doing, and they come highly recommended, and they definitely know how to do this virtually. A lot less pen to paper. I did a webinar recently from the Office of the State Comptroller regarding the budget process. Let's see, Spray Park. You know, we've in the past, we've said Memorial Day, certainly much like it was this fall. If it's up and ready to go and we get a string of beautiful days like today, we may open it a little bit earlier in May. Men and Youth Center, planning on closing that down about mid-May. They, you know, when the weather gets nice like this, they just don't have a lot of attendance there. So I will let the board know about that going forward. And let's see, that covers my communications. Thank you. Move on to Supervisor's Monthly Report.
Motion to acknowledge receipt of the supervisor's monthly report for March 2024.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Town Clerk's Monthly Report.
I'll make a motion to acknowledge receipt of the town clerk's monthly report for March 2024, showing receipts and disbursements in the amount of $5,130.08.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held on March 11th, 2024 as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I had a point to make. When this came out a couple weeks ago, the line I read in public comment, it says William Smith, 217 Taylor Road, complained about the board, lights not working and signs in the hamlet. It didn't kind of ring correct in my head, so I went back and looked at the tape, looked at it about half a dozen times now. And I think Bud was pretty specific. I mean, I don't mean to jerk there, but he didn't mention the board once. He specifically mentioned Supervisor Moffitt. So I think that would be a more accurate representation of what Bud said.
Okay.
Right.
So we had a motion and a second.
Well, it was fixed on the record, so on the actual paper, those were my minutes. But I mean, any amendment can just be found here. I'll put that on there.
Okay.
I'll kind of note what he said with it on there, so then you don't have to redo your whole.
Okay.
motion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye, any opposed? Thank you. Next, we'll move on to vouchers.
Make a motion to approve all claims on voucher number 24-216, 24-74. General abstract 4-04 in the amount of $62,386.99.
Second,
Any discussion?
I just had a couple, one question, I think. There were several checks for employees for the same amount, and it was under benefits. And I don't remember seeing those in the past.
Yeah, it's a change in policy that anyone who is getting the opt-out is because of the ADP, they can't process those with the way they're doing it. So now we're paying that with a voucher.
Okay, so. Okay,
It'll show on their paycheck as a fringe benefit, sorry,
Mhm.
and it'll still take all the taxes out and all of that. It's just. It's the way it has to go, so it doesn't get charged under retirement and all that through ADP. So it'll still get taxed, but that's all. It's not earned income. So it's a fringe benefit and it'll show up on their, it'll show on their statement still, but they'll get a separate check.
okay. So will it show on there?
Like on their pay stub?
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
and they'll show accruals, the new ones will have your sick time, everything, all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
That's all.
We got a second.
Yes,
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Uh,
Aye, any opposed? Thank you. Highway abstract,
Make a motion to approve all claims on voucher number 24-001, 24-026. General abstract 24-04 in the amount of $341,694.59.
second.
any discussion?
Like one note on here, do have the one voucher for the 2023 international truck and the amount of $291,500 change. That's pretty big item on there.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye, any opposed? Thank you.
I'd like to also make note, the library vouchers 24-038, 24-053 on library abstract. 24-04 in the amount of $6,621.20 were presented to the town board for payment.
Cindy, I just wanted to mention that I have had meetings with both Lila and Lisa. And they understand process.
Okay.
As we've said all along, this is a big change for us. And there's been some hiccups along the way, and I'm sure there will still be hiccups along the way.
Yes, they did say that they had met with you, and I think, they were just, I think their biggest concern was that payment before.
Prepays.
Yeah, right, the prepays, but thank you.
So the town board will be meeting generally on the second Monday of the month. And then they will do the finance people will do the prepays on the fourth Monday.
And so they have plenty of time because they meet before we do. They meet the first Monday of the month.
There are some months that
Right, or
get changed around a little bit because of holidays and what have you, but that is the plan right now. As I said, we're working through this. It's a work in progress.
okay, thank you.
If I could, I just want to jump in for a second. I just have a question. I don't know if it was last meeting or the meeting before, we were talking about kind of streamlining the voucher process. Is that, so what came out of that streamlining is now we've got general and highway, there's two separate line items now,
Mhm.
kind of like it used to be, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Maybe,
several years ago.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I just want to know.
and I don't know about Denise or anybody, but I felt like even being the first month doing it, it went really good.
Good, got it, like I did it last month. For me, it went smoother.
Awesome, good.
Because usually a lot of the stuff that you see out of the A fund, I see a lot of times. Out of the highway stuff is that I'm not as familiar with, so dig in a little bit deeper. So next time I'll go with the high, with the hard, with for stuff first.
And I think when I went before you did, and, we had a couple of little hiccups, but John was here and Andy happened to be out in the parking lot, so I was able to check with both of them and we figured out what the issue was.
We're getting there.
If it's smooth after a month, that's a
Wow.
lot quicker than it used to.
What you
Well,
call
okay.
smooth. We're getting
Wow,
there.
smoother.
Yes.
Number 10, standard workday and reporting resolution.
Motion to establish the standard work days as submitted on Form RS 2417-A at this meeting.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye, any opposed? Thank you. Number 11, truck purchase. This is for a permissive referendum.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the transfer of $291,504.36 from NY -01-1255-0010. The Equipment Reserve Fund DB to the DB fund. This resolution is subject to a permissive referendum.
Second.
So obviously between COVID and not being able to get equipment promptly and other issues. This was money that was set aside for equipment in previous year's budgets that was put into reserves, and now this would take it out of reserves if the permissive referendum is accomplished. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye, any opposed? Thank you. Next, Parks Reserve, permissive referendum.
Motion to authorize the transfer of $131,500 from NY -1255-1255-001 Parks Reserve Fund A to the A fund. This resolution is subject to permissive referendum.
Second.
Same thing, this is for the spray park. We've been planning on this all along and this just takes that money out of reserves. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye, any opposed? Thank you. Next, we'll have smoke shops moratorium. This is a proposed local law.
Set a motion to adopt following establishing the public hearing. Opposed. Moratorium state health.
Second.
Any discussion?
No, I think it's the right move.
So.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, actually, you're gonna probably answer my question, so go ahead.
I think there's been a fair amount of discussion in the community about smoke shops. I've talked to a lot of other town supervisors with the problems that have occurred. Personally, and this is just my personal feeling, and I have had people share this pretty much the same thing with me, is that having something at the four corners of the hamlet isn't exactly what we had in mind. They cannot be outlawed, much like adult entertainment. However, they can be zoned, and the one that we have is in the business zone, and that is pre-existing non-conforming, so that it would not be subject to any possible change in the law unless it shut down and tried to reopen. But regardless, I personally kind of favor an overlay district. I certainly want to hear what other people on the board feel. I want to hear what the public has to say about it. And I think, Brent, we've been working on this for quite a while. And I think this is the right move at this time. We also have I think you have the proposed law in the packet as well, if I'm not mistaken. So I'd like to hear what the public is.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to hear.
I've been hearing a lot from the public,
Mhm.
and I'd like to hear, give them a chance for all of the public to speak
Sure.
about it.
I just am curious how it came about, because, you know, I think it was the night or two before a board meeting, we all showed up at board meeting, said, the hell going on in the, on the Four Corners? I mean, it just, they rented it out to this business without really anyone knowing, or, I mean, how did this blindside us? Or at least seem to blindside us?
I wouldn't say it blindsided us at all.
Oh, okay.
It's a legal business in the business zone.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need a permit to come and open up a
Absolutely, yeah.
business in the business zone. I mean, that may be something we want to consider, and
Yeah.
Brent and I have talked about that,
Yeah.
but, you know, at what point do you? You know, I've had people say to me things like, well, how many pizza places are you gonna allow in town? I don't think that's our decision.
Sure.
So, yeah, if it's a legal business and they're in the business zone. Sheldon, maybe you can expand on that, but I mean, no one gave them permission. No one
Right,
said
they
yes,
need
no, or
permission,
maybe.
yeah.
Correct. I don't know, you know,
I gotta be honest, of all the scuttlebutt I hear, most of it is about the neon signs in the window.
Exactly.
So-
That's
Yeah.
what I hear too.
well, when he first had signs, several of them were flashing, and that is a violation of the code.
Okay.
Code enforcement officer and I went in and we introduced ourselves, and he went over the code violations, and the gentleman who was in there altered the light, the flashing lights to steady lights immediately. However, I do, well, this resolution is really not about that.
No, exactly.
It's
I
about,
just
it's
was-
about, so we can have this discussion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Uh,
Aye, any opposed? Thank you. Next is the Historic Preservation Commission. This is a change in meeting dates.
Make a motion to change the regular meeting date of the Historic Preservation Committee from Wednesday, June 5th, 2024 to Wednesday, June 12th, 2024.
One second.
So this took place at their meeting. They were concerned they wouldn't have a quorum. I did explain to them that even though they're the members of the public that seldomly show up at their meetings, it is an advertised meeting. It is a meeting of a mission that's appointed by the board, and that they have to follow open meetings law, that meetings have to be advertised, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what prompted this change. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye, any opposed? Thank you. Michelle, when you do that, would you mind dropping a note to them to let them know that the board approved it?
Yep.
I appreciate it. Next is procurement policy amendments.
Like to make a motion to amend paragraph 3 of the procurement policy is outlined in paragraph.
Second.
Any discussion?
I personally think it's a good idea. With the most a couple of months ago, when we were getting the tires for trucks. I think the prices have been escalated in the past couple of years since COVID, and I think we're catching up with the times. I don't want to see, I don't think we need a proposal or make. I don't think it needs to come before the town board and buy tires for the trucks or buy a replacement AC for a truck.
I agree. I have a question, when it says here, I understand the one that says through department head, but then the next one, 250 to 1999.99.
I'm sorry, which one is this?
And the second one down, and the third one as well, same question.
Mhm.
Where it says through department head with town supervisor or highway superintendent approval before purchase. If it's a highway thing, the highway, it says through department head.
Mhm.
Or highway superintendent. Or with supervisor or highway superintendent approval, can the department head? Well, it would be the same person if it's the highway, right?
Well,
Department head and highway
it's a
superintendent.
department head with with the town supervisor or highway superintendent can approve before purchase. So if the highway superintendent approves it, it doesn't come through the town supervisor.
Okay,
I mean, to me, it doesn't say and, it says or.
right, that's what I said, or, and if I said and,
No, I'm not saying you said anything. I'm just saying that's the way it's written. That's the way I interpret it. But maybe I'm interpreting different than others.
So the amount, that second one and third one down.
Right.
Through department head. And then if there is a highway thing, then the highway superintendent doesn't have to go through the town, correct?
Well, the highway superintendent is the town. I'm not sure.
Through the town supervisor,
Correct,
thank you.
correct. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye, any opposed? Thank you. Next, Justice Court audit.
Make a motion to acknowledge, go ahead, Tom.
No, you can do it.
To acknowledge that the required annual examination of the justice court's records for the fiscal year ending 2023 was conducted on March 14, 2024, and March 19, 2024 by town board members Cynthia and Carol and Thomas G. Dubois.
I'll second that.
I know you mentioned this in your communications, however, the court system requires a
Resolution.
resolution. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next, 2024 Town Finance School.
Option to approve the attendance of Joan Moffett and Brett Rozak at the 2024 Dow Finance School, May 7th through the 8th. In Geneva, all necessary legal expenses to be paid with a total amount not to exceed $500, with $250 to be paid from account A1220.410 and $250 to be paid from the account A1010.410.
Any discussion? I know Brent and I went to this last year. I thought it was excellent. If anyone else wants to go, we can alter the agenda this evening, but it was well worth it. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next, New York State Retirement System Employer Education Seminar.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the attendance of Michelle Booth to the New York State Retirement System Employer Education Seminar, April 12th, 2024, at Geneva Valley BOCES 80 Munson Street, Lower New York. All necessary legal expenses be paid with a total amount not to exceed $100 to be paid from account A1310.410.
Second.
Any discussion? This subject is something that we're hoping isn't gonna be as big a deal as we think it might be. But we need to get somebody to the seminar. And after we discussed this, decided that Michelle, it made the most sense for Michelle to go. Does not, we think at this point that ADP is gonna provide us with a report.
Yeah.
But we're still gonna have to report it to New York State.
Correct.
And somebody's gotta be able to get online and maneuver their way through their website. And it's probably better than a snap. So I think Michelle, I'm sure Michelle will do a great job, but we do need to get somebody in there to, they've revamped the whole reporting thing over the last 6 months to a year, and it's.
good.
In New York.
You did?
Yeah, so they
Okay.
were talking about all the changes in the reporting and
Oh,
what you have to do.
You've heard this too?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
really good that Chelsea.
I hope it's streamlined, but I don't know what it was before and I don't know what it is now, but apparently it's. One of the things is that everybody has to be reported. Even if you don't want to get in the system. And that's because, like years ago, somebody would come in here and go, hey, I worked summer rec in 1982. I'm now, then I went into my teaching career, 30 years later, I'm retiring, and now I want to buy back that time. And, you know, someone would have to go up to the third floor for a couple of days to dig. So this would eliminate that problem long term. Short term, it doesn't solve anything that happened in 1980, but would cure that problem going forward. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is highway school attendance.
For highway school. Third and fifth, and in college, all necessary legal expenses paid, total amount not to exceed $725, based on account A5010.460.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Declaration of surplus.
I'll make a motion to declare the following as surplus and authorize the distribution of fertilizer spreader and barrel cart and both AC machine and both plow parts.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is use of athletic fields for the Blaze.
Like to make a motion to authorize the use of the rectangular athletic field at Summer Road by Honey Falls Blaze Travel Soccer for the period of May 1st, 2024 through August 1st, 2024, according to the schedule submitted to their application. All necessary documents have been received by the town, including the current liability insurance.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Back to public comment. Seeing none, is there a motion for adjournment?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.